Hello and welcome to Fireside Chats at the Influencer Series conducted by the Alchemist Accelerator. These are timely chats with tech leaders about what's on their mind. Let's get into it.
Hi, I'm Arjun Prakash. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of DistylAI. At Distil, our mission is to distill enterprise value from technology. And the technology we choose to focus on is generative AI. What I want to do today is walk you through 3 chapters of a movie. The first is focused on technology. The second is focused on the implication of that technology on business models. And the third is a prediction of what might happen as a result of this technology's implication on business models. So let's start with the technology. Everybody today is talking about generative AI. And there are various different versions of generative AI that people are excited about. Some people are excited about the completions capabilities, and these allow you to edit emails better and personal productivity tools. Some people are excited about information retrieval, and this enhances productivity and results in better search capabilities. The one that I'm really excited about and that we spend a lot of time at Distill thinking about is intelligence. And so what is intelligence? Intelligence is the ability of these models to really reason and come up with the right set of actions to take in a particular sequence to accomplish tasks. And reasoning unlocks an entire set of new use cases that we have not even begun to fathom. What reasoning makes possible is the creation of assistants, what I think some people refer to as agents. In an agentic world, these assistants can carry out complex actions and simple actions. And the AI can decide what tools to call upon, what data sources to use, and really piece them together to be able to accomplish things. I want to distinguish this a little bit from what people call copilots. So copilots we really think of as better search and enablement within an existing product. And these have really improved the productivity of many software products. GitHub Copilot has made it much easier to write code. Assistants, our agents, are going to be able to interact with many different copilots and data sources and piece them together to be able to carry out business processes. They often involve working from the workflow backwards. The second chapter that I want to talk about is the implication of these assistants on businesses. What these assistants are increasingly over time going to be able to do is create productivity improvements at a hereunto unfathomed scale on many of the simple tasks, and also enable us as humans to do many more complex tasks that we just don't honestly have the time to do as knowledge workers today. This is going to result in a drastic increase of productivity. So what does that mean for companies? If you're a software company, it means that both your CapEx and your OpEx are going to decrease quite minimally. The cost to develop your first product is going to go down. And you're going to see many companies be formed with very few number of employees that previously required an order of magnitude more number of software engineers. This is going to create a world in which software companies can take products to market with very little investment upfront because of the productivity improvements from artificial intelligence and AI. It also has meaningful implications on your OpEx. And this applies to not just the software companies, but also asset-heavy companies. The cost of actually carrying out operational workflows is going to go down quite significantly in a way that we saw previously in the Industrial Revolution. What this really allows organizations to do is test, validate, and distribute products in a much more agile manner, and also scale up operations in a much more effective way. I want to talk a little bit about what this means now for our economy over the next few years. Large companies, think $200 billion large companies that do have the distribution and brand, are going to be able to use this technology to scale up much more efficiently because of its implications on operating expenses. And now you can make a promise that you can grow from being a $200 billion company to a $2 trillion company, and AI offers you that glide path. But it does require making an investment. If you don't make that investment, what you're doing is trying to protect your company. But that might result in you getting disrupted by other companies or new entrants who will adopt a more AI native way of operating. I'll give you two examples. The first example is Carnegie Steel. They really embraced an entire new set of techniques in manufacturing, and that allowed them to scale up and use their brand and distribution to eventually, through a set of consolidations, corner 60% of that market. But this required them to lean in to the new technologies. Another example is Borders, who did not necessarily realize the shift that was happening because of the internet, and as a result of this, got outcompeted by Amazon, who did adopt this technology in a technology native way. I'm also very excited about what the implications of this mean for small businesses. Small businesses that were previously capital constrained are now going to be able to use artificial intelligence to reach scale that previously was reserved for companies with larger capital. This means that you're going to see many, many more companies become $100 million, $200 million companies, and they're going to come up from all over the world. I'm excited for what this means for an entrepreneur, not just from Silicon Valley, but also from Georgia and Alabama. What I do also believe is that it is going to disrupt an entire set of mid-cap companies or large companies that don't necessarily have a distribution mode or a brand mode, and we're betting on the smaller companies not being able to scale up because technology wasn't available. And so what you're going to see is the larger companies finding it easier to scale up and the smaller companies finding it easier to scale up. And that is going to create a lot more competition in the middle. And you're going to see a lot of wealth get created because now the small business owner has an opportunity to build something that is much bigger than was even possible before. I'm very optimistic about this future and what it really means for the resurgence of the small business in our American economy.
And that's our show. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for more discussions as well. You can also check out our website, alchemistaccelerator.com, to learn more about the Alchemist Startup Accelerator program and to get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.